All right. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
And I want to talk to you about today, what do you think this is? Now, all of you have had biology. Some came from science fair. And so who would like to guess what's happening in the bottle? Bubbles? It's making bubbles. Now, notice there's a palm. And what kind of bubbles are going through that you said it was making bubbles?
Air.
Air. Okay, so who can tell me what's in air?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide. What else?
Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Helium,
Helium.
argon,
Argon.
krypton,
And there's another gas that no one
Nitrogen.
remembers that we breathe so much of.
nitrogen.
Nitrogen, right. So, now you notice, bubbles going through, you notice that first. What else do you notice about the bottle?
There's algae inside of it.
There's algae. So what did the algae do with that CO2?
It absorbs it.
It absorbs it to do
Photosynthesis.
photosynthesis. There's our leaves from Mother Nature. And there's a words, when you try to do something that's already in nature, and you look at the patterns that the nature has, and you try to develop those into something that's useful, and I bet Jasmine knows what that is.
Biomimicry.
Biomimicry. So biomimicry. So if we created something to remove, like this doesn't have anything except just air bubbling through the little tube. But if we created something that could remove CO2 that the algae is using, because we can't really put algae in the car as much, but we want to remove something that's going to be really good, useful filter. So and we want to remove the carbon dioxide, so it's out of there. So looking at those leaf patterns, you want to think about which leaf pattern might be a good one to use to remove the CO2.
Okay, so what I'm doing is inserting the Alka-Seltzer tablet just to create the CO2, and then Juan's going to go ahead and record it right after I do it. Ready?
Yes.
And we're just about at the CO2. We have a beautiful graph. All right. Here's our experimental control. And look at the graph that was created with the sensor of how much CO2 was produced with the carbon dioxide and the 100 mils of water. So which of your leaf designs from Mother Nature you think is going to reduce that amount of CO2? Maria.
I think mine, because it looks like the one that Dr. Lochner chose.
Uh-huh. Okay, and what design did you choose?
It's the Eastern white pine leaf.
Uh-huh. And Andre, which one do you have?
I chose the American elm because I saw that it had a lot of crevices for the CO2 to be stored in.
Okay. Jaylee?
I chose the white oak because of its disproportionate shape. I
Heidi?
chose the shagbark hickory because it has 3 larger leaves and 2 smaller leaves.
I chose the ginkgo because of its fan-like shape.
And Jasmine?
I chose the tulip leaf because it has a larger surface area.
And here I am putting the Eastern white pine leaf, soaking it in the solution.
Anyone try suspending it? Okay.
Ready? And
Did the CO2 levels go down?
Yeah, they actually did.
All right, so we have all your designs, and we saved the data on the LabQuest. So to complete the experiment, we have to do the experiment 3 times to get an average, and then you'll look at your analysis, and we want to compare to see which one of those was the best for removing CO2. And so we mimic those leaves from nature. So there's a word that refers to collecting all that carbon, and it's called sequestration. So basically you've just done a biomimetic carbon sequestration. So you capture all that carbon dioxide, it's now on your leaf designs. And so when you write your lab report, think about how that could be a good application for the world today. So anybody have a suggestion on what would be a good application?
I believe a good application would be trapping the CO2 and then washing it off and transferring it
to create energy in greenhouses.
Also, a good application would be to apply it on cars and vehicles so that you can reduce the CO2 that is produced from those.